My very good friends at Three Prong have just been sandpaper enamored by the Federal Court of Australia. 40 grit too. Nasty chafing. And by 40 grit, I mean $12.5 million. I do love it when a Friday comes together. I'm John Cadogan from AutoExpert.com.au, and I normally get new cars cheap in Australia. Website, card, normally. But today I'm just having the full in-trow TP over the Federal Court's judgment, which was handed down just yesterday. It is a thing of beauty and a total joy to behold. Dude, men can't multitask is what I'm essentially saying. Now, if you read the whole thing, Judge Middo from the Federal Court, Fedco J Mid, if he were a rapper, like he's not as far as we know, but if he were, he has issued a comprehensive 77-paragraph reaming to Three Prong Shitsville for being rather naughty boys and girls over the recent Takata airbag recall, of which I am sure you have heard. $12.5 million is payable by Three Prong to the Commonwealth by October the 2nd. Most probably out of the Three Prong Christmas party budget, possibly even from the boardroom swear jar, which, as I understand it, is overflowing right now. Go figure. Plus, an additional 100k, lazy 100k, by way of reach around to the ACCC to assist with the narcoleptic watchdog's legal costs. Try saying that with 3 bottles of scotch on board. So, all up, rather a hefty touch-up, you'd have to say. And you might be asking, what offences exactly did Satan's official car maker commit here in the land of anyone can be the Trade Commissioner to America? Well, dude, they kind of downplayed the risk to owners of vehicles cursed by Takata on 27 separate occasions over about 20 months. But who's counting, dude? Apart from Fedco J-Mid, the ACCC, and, of course, numerous lesser men wearing wigs. The totality of transgression was hardly a one-time thing. 23 times they kind of said, in writing, always a mistake, that the whole Takata inconvenience was more or less just a, quote, precaution, and 4 times they imputed that Takata beta inflators in other manufacturers' vehicles had not had any faults or caused any accidents, injuries or deaths. Oops-a-daisy. The admitted contravening conduct was not deliberate, reckless, systematic or covert, and was a result of the conduct of 5 contractors engaged by Mercedes. Senior management of Mercedes were not involved in the admitted contravening conduct. Fucking contractors, dude. Both a blessing and a curse. More of a curse in this case, it seems. But it appears not to be some malicious, deliberate plot by Dr. Evil for world domination. Nobody was injured, Mercedes didn't profit out of this, and nothing like that took place. More so just another example of ambient corporate cock. He is rampant. Like, dude, rampant. This unfortunately optimistic position of Three Prong following the fine work of its 5 specialist contractors turns out to be a contravention of Section 127, Paragraph 1 of Shitsville consumer law. And courts really hate that when the ACCC wakes up and draws things of this nature to their attention. Hilariously enough, the maximum penalty payable here was actually about $217 million. Hashtag missed opportunity. However, Middo did see fit to give Three Prong a rather significant bulk buy discount, more than $200 million off. You might think they got off lightly, therefore, but the way these civil penalties work, according to the judgment, it's mainly because A, the purpose of the penalty is to prevent some other similar corporate asshole from deciding that this kind of conduct is okay, and B, it kind of just has to be sufficiently high for three-prong not to regard the penalty as an acceptable cost of doing business. Like, dude, what good is an abrasive enema if you don't feel a thing, right? If it falls in the forest and you don't feel it, is it really up there? That's more of a philosophical question, I know. I don't think courts detain themselves with lofty shit of that nature. Contraventions of mandatory recalls must attract appropriate penalties in order to maintain consumer confidence in the recall process and product safety measures. Fedco JMID there, paragraph 52 from yesterday's judgment. And I am feeling vestigially confident, I have to say. He goes on, corporations should be left in no doubt that a strong internal compliance program, including proper training and supervision of management and staff, is not optional. If the burden of the penalty is seen to be less than the cost of such a program, corporations may be tempted to absorb the risk of being caught in preference to ensuring careful compliance. Fedco JMID there again from paragraph 53 that time, which is a personal favourite, I have to say. I do love number 53 of that judgment because many car makers, three-prong certainly in my estimation, but also Jeep, Land Rover, Volkswagen, etc., seem to think that consumer law is only for the kind of shit you might buy at Bing-Lee. Toasters and blenders, maybe the refrigerator kind of thing. Rubber dog shit at the local $2 shop. The kiddies love that, of course, except if it's not reasonably durable, but not the car. That's a different thing. Silly me, but you would have thought the penny has had abundant time to drop for the car industry on this by now, seeing as we've had these laws on the books for 11 and a half years and they've all got in-house corporate counsel. I mean, come on. Perhaps they just enjoy being arseholes. Bean counters are funny like that. Personally, I think Judge Middow should have ruled additionally that the Zoom call back to Stuttgart from three-prong Shitsville's Humpy in beautiful Mulgrave, requesting a suitcase be stuffed with $250,000 $50 bills stat, and the response back all be broadcast live across all available streaming platforms. There's a car show that would rate its tits off, I'd suggest. I would have given them a further $2 million discount for that. I'm not sure Fedco JMID has the power to do that. I'm just saying it would have been impossibly entertaining. Glacé cherry on top kind of thing, in my view. Now, I might just be an old softy with a heart of gold, but I am starting to feel sorry for the old girl. Three-prong, dude, not Judge Middow. Do try to keep up. I mean, here they are trying to get on with the core business of fleecing rich wankers who should know better. And all they can see is speed humps, speed hump, speed hump, speed hump, again, again, again. Sales are in free fall, like halfway to the deep ocean outfall. Ever since they boned their dealers and fixed prices. Oops-a-daisy. They invoked their shit price promise and sales plummeted. Who knew that this concept would not work? BMW says thanks, by the way. Then the dealers, who three-prong said were all okay with being shafted and having their goodwill incinerated in this way, their once faithful dealers, fine upstanding pillars of the community, they slapped them with a $650 million lawsuit. 80% of the dealers are on the lawsuit anyway. 40 out of 50. So that's rather a decent quorum, I'd suggest. Nothing says we're not actually okay with it, quite like a demand for $650 million in compensation. That matter is before the court, of course, so have to be a bit careful what is said, but I think it's okay to say that I honestly don't give a steaming number 2 who wins. I just want a ringside seat, and I want it to drag on for years upon years, endlessly. It's going to be the greatest show on earth. 40 rat-sized snakes in the octagon against one giant anaconda-sized rat. Yes, in a winner-takes-all battle to the death, with $650 million on the line, plus costs. I cannot wait for the movie. Of course, part of me does linger wistfully in the rearview mirror through those rose-coloured glasses, and he wishes we could just go back to the good old days, simpler times when three-prong was a multi-platinum hip-hop phenomenon with the bat pumping up on the desk, safety off, aimed at the veggies. And its fattest beats still ahead. Who could forget the sheer intensity of Squeal Like a Pig, the ode to AMG brakes, written by Three-Prong and performed flawlessly by Drake? Or the haunting majesty of Do You Sideways with Snoop Dogg. If you play that one backwards at double speed, right, into Google Translate, it spits out the plans for the all-wheel drive system in the E-Class. Just amazing. But my favourite was, of course, Geriatric in the House with Doc Dre, the Grammy Award-winning tribute to Three-Prong's groundbreaking Windows XP-powered Command Online system. Yes, Geriatric in the House. Because nothing, I think you'd agree, says engineered like no other car, quite like using a 20-year-old PC operating system to drive the CD player in a contemporary C-Class. I would never have been able to think of doing that, and if I had, I would not have had the balls to suggest it. The big question, of course, what can Three-Prong possibly do next to continue this preposterous roller coaster ride of abject entertainment? It's like watching Inception on benzodiazepine, only instead of dreams within dreams within dreams, it's fuck-ups all the way down.